If you are just starting out on guitar, learning how to play chords is one of the most frustrating things, but there's one thing that you can focus on that's gonna make it a whole lot easier, and it's not what you think. Hey guys, Brad from simpleguitar.com here. Now I'm gonna give this to you, but I want you to stick around because I'm gonna explain why this makes such a big deal and how it's going to skyrocket your progress when you're first learning guitar. The number one thing that you need to focus on when you're learning new chords to make it easy is your thumb. If you focus on your thumb position when you are first learning how to play chords, it's gonna make everything so much easier. Let me tell you about what I see when I'm in lessons with students all the time. I see students trying to play a chord, even if it's a simple one finger chord, like a simple G like this, right? Or a simple C chord. And what happens is the thumb comes over like this, or it goes over like this, and they're palming the back of the neck like this, or the thumb is just constantly moving, right? Here's what I want you to do. Give me a thumbs up right now. Put that thumb on the back of the neck, okay? But here's the trick. Let me turn around so you can see this. When you are flipped around, you want your thumb to go in the middle of the neck, okay? And you don't want your thumb pointing like this, okay? We want your thumb collapsed. You want your knuckle collapsed so your thumb is straight or fairly straight or back all the way. I don't care. But not this. This is just weird. Don't do this, okay? That's lame. Put the knuckle on the neck. Now, let your hand drop down. See how my hand is dropping down? And that way, you're not going to be touching the bottom of the neck, okay? Now, if your hand drops down, check this out. If I bring my finger around to make a chord like this, I'm not touching anywhere. This is all open, right? The big mistake that most people make when they are first learning chords is they're not holding the guitar steady enough. And then they put their thumb in weird places like this. And then they feel like they have to touch right here on the neck, which we don't want to do. And then that makes it so that you're in this weird position like this, okay? And this is how most people will try to play a chord when they first play a chord. And then they wonder why they're struggling, right? And so what I want you to do is I want you to clean all that up. Start with a thumbs up. Make sure your thumb is straight. Put that on the back of the guitar. Now here's the trick. What you have to get used to is keeping your thumb in one position at a time. That does not mean that your thumb is always going to be in the same position no matter what. Your thumb's going to change all over the place. You need a different thumb position for different techniques and things that you're playing, okay? But for example, today in class, I had students playing a very simple 3-string G chord and a very simple 3-string C chord like this, and a very simple E minor, right? Very easy, but here's the trick. The key to being able to do those and change quickly is changing as little as you can, and the way that you minimize that is you keep your thumb in the same place. So if you focus on keeping your thumb like right behind the 2nd fret, then it puts your 3rd finger in position to play this G. It puts your 1st finger in position to play the C. And then you have to get used to just letting your hand go and leaving your thumb in place on the back of the neck. Okay, that's a weird feeling for most people. But you have to make sure that your guitar is nice and steady on your leg and that your arm is over here and you're holding it nice and steady and it's not falling all over the place. Because then you can leave your thumb on the back of the neck and put your fingers down to play things and let them go, and it's not gonna like wobble off and fall off your leg, okay? So what I want you to do is focus on your thumb. If you're having trouble with chords, if you're having trouble with playing anything really, a lot of times the big fix that we start with students is making sure their thumb is right. So focus on that. If you're having trouble with chords, make sure your thumb is right, leave it in one position, minimize moving your thumb. Now, another reason for this and why this is going to help you is because if your thumb is in the same place, it minimizes all the motion, right? Another thing that people are doing is when they're learning a new chord, like this A minor, for example, and then they change to a C, they reset their whole hand and they're like, I have to change everything. And then their thumb's here for C, and then They change it over to here for A minor, and then for D, it's all the way up here, right? And for G, it's down here, right? Keep your thumb in a very similar place. It's going to change a little bit, but for example, if I have an A minor chord and I put my thumb on the back like this, all I really have to do is move my third finger, and that is my C chord, right? You should minimize how much you have to move to get from chord to chord. And if you're resetting your entire hand and you're palming the back of the neck and you're insisting on touching right here, this is one of my pet peeves. If your hand is like this when you're trying to play chords, it's going to be really hard. Don't touch right here. I tell kids all the time, this is hot lava. Don't touch it, right? The awareness of your thumb and where it is, this is like the root to a lot of problems, or at least it's the first symptom to fixing a lot of problems, is getting that thumb in the right place. So if you've been struggling, focus on that thumb, make sure it's in a good position, and then minimize your movement in other places. Now, if this was helpful for you, which I hope it was, then I have another gift for you as well. If you go to my website at simpleguitar.com/top10, there I have a guide for you called the Top 10 Things to Learn on Guitar First. And it's 10 things that will get you a lot of bang for your buck when it comes to your guitar playing and being able to play guitar faster. So go to simpleguitar.com/top10, download that free guide, have yourself an awesome day, and I will see you in the next lesson.